If you are considering an ERP solution for your business, then you would be bombarded with a lot of choices. As you consider the choices for your ERP solution in selecting which make do you want to go, before that it becomes quite imperative for you to make a decision on whether you want to go for a cloud-based ERP or an on-premise ERP. Hi there, my name is Raman and I'm from a company called ERP Doctor. In my experience of working with more than 1,000 plus companies in implementing ERP systems, this is one common question that I always get to answer. Should I select an cloud-based ERP system or an on-premise ERP system? So, in this video, I'm going to give you 8 key factors to consider when choosing between a cloud ERP versus an on-premise ERP. Before even making your choice of whether to go with an cloud-based ERP solution or an on-premise ERP solution, it is very essential and important for you to know what is an on-premise and what is a cloud-based ERP. Explained in a very simple language, a cloud-based ERP solution is one where you host your data and use your ERP on a vendor's platform. To do so, you basically pay him a subscription charge or a rental charge. And you can access his platform from anywhere through an internet. So this basically would be called as a cloud-based ERP. On the other hand, an on-premise ERP solution is one where you buy the licenses of the ERP solution, you have it deployed on your infrastructure or on your server and put your data and use the ERP system on your premises. And this will be called as an on-premise ERP solution. Now, let's go into those 8 key parameters to consider when choosing between an on-premise ERP solution versus a cloud ERP solution. The first parameter that we'll be considering is the cost. When it comes to cost, an on-premise ERP solution requires an upfront initial investment to be made, which is quite considerable in nature. The cost is incurred towards license cost, infrastructure cost, networking cost, and so on. And we call this cost as a capital expenditure or CapEx. So, an on-premise ERP solution is more of a CapEx or capital expenditure. On the other hand, a cloud ERP solution requires a minimal cost to get started off because you don't have to pay any upfront charges on licenses or on server or on networking, because all of this is provided by the vendor. So you will have to pay for the subscription cost, which will be pretty minimal to start with. This type of cost would be generally cost as an operational expense or OPEX. So a cloud ERP becomes more affordable as compared to an on-premise solution. And that is why for people who are budget conscious, a cloud ERP seems to be more affordable as compared to an on-premise solution. The second parameter to consider is TCO, total cost of ownership. I have explained in my past videos and in multiple videos that an ERP cost should never be looked at as a one-time expense or never looked at in isolation. You will have to look at it over a period of 5 years as a recurring cost. Now, in the first parameter, we saw that the initial cost of investment is comparatively low in a cloud-based ERP solution as compared to the on-premise ERP solution. But what happens over a period of 3.5 to 5 years time span is both of these costs basically merges, and after the 4th year, the cost of ownership for an on-premise ERP solution basically starts going down, or stabilizing, whereas the cost of an cloud ERP solution keeps climbing up. When the TCO is spread over a period of 6 to 7 years, which is what an ideal lifetime for an ERP solution is, you will find that an on-premise ERP solution is basically lower when compared to an cloud ERP solution. So even though the initial cost of investment was pretty low in a cloud-based ERP solution, the total cost of ownership basically is in favor of an on-premise ERP solution. Now, let's look at point number 3, data security. Data security is of great importance for every business because when we're talking about data, we're talking about financial data of a company, we're talking about proprietary informations, we're talking about manufacturing informations, we're talking about process informations. Now, these are informations which go into an ERP, and all business are really concerned about having their data on a vendor's platform, and this becomes a critical point to be considered when making your choice. With an on-premise ERP system, since you have your own licenses paid upfront, your own infrastructure, server and networking, all your data is located on your premise, and so you are in control of your data. Now, there's also a flip side to it. Since you are in control of your data, the security of the data, the breach in data, and the threat to external agencies as far as your data is concerned is completely on you now. So the on-premise ERP puts more control into the hands of the user organization when it comes to data security. Now, this statement means that the business which opts for an on-premise ERP solution should build their capability and capacity and competency for the security and control of data. On the other hand, when you opt for a cloud-based ERP solution, you will have to rely on the terms and conditions of the cloud ERP solution provider as far as the data's security is concerned. You literally have to leave your data security in the hands of a third party or a solution provider. Even though a cloud ERP company tries to provide as much comfort as possible in terms of the security that they follow and the protocols that they have for maintaining your data, many studies show that business are not at a peaceful state of mind when they have their data, especially proprietary informations, stored in a vendor's operating platform. On the flip side, since the data security is completely on the onus of the cloud solution provider, you really do not have to worry about securing your data. And this removes a lot of pressure from the business if the data is definitely not very proprietary in nature or not very sensitive in nature. So when you have to rate a cloud ERP versus an on-premise ERP for data security, they are the same because one option, the cloud option, basically scores low on a third person handling your data, but scores high because you don't have to, the business doesn't have to carry the headache of maintaining the data. Whereas the on-premise solution gives you a full control of the data, but puts you in a tight spot because you will have to give the security or you will have to make sure that your data is secure. So in this case, they both are equally rated. The fourth parameter to consider when it comes to choosing between a cloud or an on-premise ERP solution is the ability to customize the ERP solution. Not all businesses have similar requirements. There are businesses which might have very bespoke processes, very unique processes, and the off-the-shelf ERP features and functionalities might not cater to the business process requirements. In such case, what happens is customization becomes inevitable. Now, an on-premise ERP solution is easy to customize because it's stored on your system and the customizations that you build is specific to your system. And this is the reason why larger organizations, niche industries with unique processes do go in for an on-premise solution. On the other hand, a cloud ERP solution does not provide flexible customization option because it is the same infrastructure and same solution which is offered to a lot of people. And this is the reason why small businesses and businesses who have a very generic processes or businesses which can afford to align to a standard ERP processes find cloud ERP solution as one of the best ERP solution to align. So bottom line, if your business has a requirement for customization, then on-premise solution is a better way to go. The fifth parameter for considering between a cloud versus an on-premise ERP solution is integrations. By integration, we would mean that if an ERP solution basically requires to be integrated to any third-party application, might it be a machine or might it be a third-party software from where the data has to come into an ERP and go out of ERP to those respective solutions, then we would call this as an integration. If there is any requirement of this sort, then definitely it's easy to do this, or it's more viable to do this in an on-premise solution as compared to a cloud ERP solution. The reason is one and the same as we discussed in the customization. On-premise solution being catered on your premise and tailored and configured to your requirement makes sure that the integration is operated to your system. Whereas when it comes to a cloud, it definitely has its disadvantages because it's a common platform used by multiple people, and that's the reason why integration becomes complex, especially the type of integration that I am talking about. This is about third-party solutions and third-party machines which needs to be integrated to the ERP. Once again, bottom line, when a business has unique and high need for integrating with third-party applications and third-party softwares and machines, then definitely on-premise ERP solution is what they go for. The sixth parameter to consider is implementation and deployment. Now, when it comes to an on-premise ERP solution, installation of the software and then installation of the server and having them work perfectly, networking them with the client system is all something that has to be done by a business. So it's a time-consuming process, and in an effort to do this, business definitely has a cost for it. Not only cost, there is a minimum capability and capacity and competency required to do this work, just not to do it one time to make, but also required to maintain it for an entire span of time when the ERP is operating. So the deployment or implementation is definitely time consuming when it comes to on-premise ERP solution. Whereas on the other hand, a cloud ERP solution doesn't require you to manage the licenses or install them on a server, manage the server and manage your networking. All it requires you to do is pay the subscription fee, get the credentials, log in and start using. So the deployment time or the implementation time is very minimal when it is a cloud ERP. And that definitely, when turns out to be on the cost, saves you a lot of money. Bottom line, business who have a strict budget constraint on spending on infrastructures, server and networking basically shy away from on-premise because the cloud ERP solution basically has none of those. Parameter number 7 is upgrades and updates. Now, when it comes to an on-premise solution, upgrades and updates are intimated to the end user or to the business by the solution provider, and this has to be manually done. Most probably what happens is you need to have different environment for your production, for your quality and for your development. So the upgrades and updates are basically deployed and tested in a development environment or test environment, and if everything is fine, then finally you move it to the production environment. So it's a time-consuming job. Not only time-consuming, it requires a certain capability and resource in-house to do this particular activity. On the other hand, a cloud ERP solution basically manages upgrades and updates very smoothly because it is centrally done at one place by the solution provider itself. So the upgrades and updates are easy to do as well as are pretty seamless and happens on time. So you will find this pretty much all over the world, that a cloud ERP solution user is always working on an upgraded and updated solution, whereas 5 out of every 10 customers who are using an on-premise solution will not be working on an upgraded solution. Because on-premise, what happens is the upgrade is done only and when it becomes necessary. So when it comes to upgrades and updates, definitely customers go in for cloud-based ERP solution as their choice. The 8th and the last parameter is maintenance. So when it comes to maintenance, an on-premise solution definitely requires, as discussed in other points, capability, capacity, and competency in-house to maintain the server, maintain the network, and the solution. So there's a cost associated in maintaining an on-premise ERP solution. On the other hand, when it comes to a cloud-based ERP solution, the maintenance cost is very, very less because there's absolutely no networking requirement or infrastructure requirement or upgrade and update management requirements. So the maintenance cost generally requires pretty less in terms of cloud ERP system. Bottom line, business which are looking for maintenance-free ERP solutions or low-cost maintenance solutions basically opt for a cloud-based ERP solution. Apart from these 8 parameters that we spoke in this particular video, definitely there are many subject matter experts who consider a lot of other parameters too, but I personally think that those parameters are not a very strong differentiator and can be compromised. Some of the parameters that people consider are scalability. Now, scalability almost remains common between both the solutions because both are capable of scaling with same resource, capacity, competency, and cost. One more parameter that's generally used by subject matter expert is mobility and accessibility. I personally feel that whether it is an on-premise solution or a cloud solution, accessing them from remote, accessing them from a mobile basically remains almost the same if proper infrastructure is provided. One more parameter that is used to differentiate is system performance. I absolutely find that as an invalid parameter because both the systems can be fine-tuned. So the choice of a cloud ERP solution or an on-premise ERP solution should be more of a fit considering those 8 factors and parameters that we discussed in the video. Now, the fit might be different from business to business. On-premise ERP solution might be a great fit for certain businesses, whereas a cloud ERP solution might be a great fit for other type of businesses. So it is always difficult to say if you are this business or this industry vertical, then this is an best ERP solution, or forget about on-premise, cloud ERP is the best, or forget about cloud ERP, on-premise is the best. Now that's not a good way to go or judge or do a recommendation on an ERP solution. But if there is still a rule of thumb that can be applied, basically any business which is pretty large in nature, when I say large, we're talking about a multinational presence or larger presence in terms of geographical footprint, more users, complex business processes, and people who are looking for data security and cannot compromise on sharing the data into a public platform would basically go in for an on-premise solution. On the other hand, where businesses do have a very straightforward business processes, standard business processes, and do not have much complications like trading, distribution businesses, do opt to go for a cloud-based ERP solution. Not only that, small businesses, mid-sized businesses, sometimes even some large businesses who are fine with aligning their business process with that of a standard ERP feature and functionality, opt to go with a cloud-based ERP solution. Hope that kind of gives you a rule of thumb or which are the kind of businesses which go in for a cloud-based ERP solution and the ones which go for a on-premise based ERP solution. Now, here is the most interesting part of the video. At ERP Doctor, we'll be more than happy to do a business review and help you understand which would be a better solution, a cloud-based ERP solution or an on-premise ERP solution for your business. And this is absolutely at free of cost, no strings attached. we would be more than happy to give you this kind of service. For you to get this done through us, we've attached a link in the description and an email ID also in the description. You can contact us and we will get back to you for conducting a free session, business review session, to give you a recommendation on a set of questionnaires that we have. Thanks once again.